Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This video is our Walking Dead reaction for Season 10, Episode 14, entitled Look at the Flowers, which, by the way, really bad tease, guys. Like, you give me this title, you bring back all of the memories of the Grove, and then you give us what is basically just an episode that takes us on a trip to a destination that we have not arrived at.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this title had me really worried, and as it should, and it should have had us all worried. But it was kind of a wah for such a powerful title that we know has a heavy meaning behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think that this is a bad episode because I did actually enjoy a lot of the stuff that was in here. I enjoyed the adventures of Severed Head Alpha for the majority of this, but at the same time, I didn't come out of this feeling like we learned all that much or like that much significant happened. So we just gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
And also deal with the fact that really episode 15 is the finale because it has been sort of reported this past week that post-production on episode 16 not able to be completed right now for pretty obvious reasons. So with that, we could have a very sort of incomplete season and then a long hiatus, but we'll talk more about that over the course of this video. Before we dive in, though, if you guys do like this discussion, remember to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and also ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any other updates. But I suppose, let's start with what is going on with Negan and Daryl, because they really kind of send you on like the allegiances trust merry-go-round in this episode.
Yeah, they really do. And I mean, it was good to finally learn that Carol did have a deal with Negan. That was what we suspected. It turned out to be true. He's been locked up for 7 years and he's done with it. He wants to try to find a way where, yeah, people might not trust him, but at the very least, he doesn't need to be locked up anymore. And she agrees to help him do that. The thing that I found that was very I don't know, it didn't sit right with me, was her whole, it took you too long. And I understand, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I understand where Negan's coming from. Like, he's not going to go in there on some sort of suicide mission where he's going to run in there and slit her throat and grab the head and run away. I mean, he's trying to make a deal here where he's going to be a functioning member of this society where he's no longer in the jail and Carol is supposed to help him. That doesn't take a minute. That takes time. He does have to get himself into a position where he can be alone with her, because if he's not alone with her, how is this going to happen? He's going to do it in front of everyone and get killed. Things like this take time. So even when we saw Daryl later be like, well, what took you so long? It's like, no, yeah, I know you guys are trying to push this narrative, but it's just not enough. It's not working.
There's also no binding contract here. Nobody told Negan, this is the amount of time you have. Because let's just also kind of frame it in this way. Let's say that Negan does a speed run through everything in the Whispers, goes in there, chops off Alpha's head, brings it back. They could still be like, it took you too long. Yeah. They don't define what long is.
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing for especially Carol to be hung up on, because we watched Carol try to take the fast route and she got everybody trapped in a cave with her. And I'm not trying to dump on Carol, because Carol is easily one of my favorite characters. I've always loved Carol, but she made a mistake and she did get everyone stuck in a cave with her, and we still don't know where Connie is. She could be dead, all because it was sort of this now, it's got to get done right away sort of feeling of it. So Negan gets it done. It takes a little longer. Okay, could Carol not have learned the lesson? She had everything happen with the cave. It took them longer. Here we are. But she got what she wanted. I was expecting, I think, a bit of a bigger moment when she finally was delivered the head, that she wasn't going to be stuck on the smaller details of it took you so long, but more on the, all right, here we are. Let's put her on this spike. Everything is finally over with this, at least for the moment before Alpha is still stuck in her head and that reveal comes out.
Yeah, I'll say this. I appreciate the amount of just Alpha's head we got in this episode because, I think The Walking Dead needs an element of just gross at all times in order for it to sort of be the show that it needs to be. We haven't had a lot of this as of late. It's a little bit, maybe some people think it's cartoony, but I like it for this show. Just give us all the weird stuff. And the weird stuff with Alpha kind of terrorizing Carol in her head, like, that does make sense. That even though Alpha is dead, it's not like Carol just all of a sudden gets over everything that she's sort of been through. I mean, she has to be haunted now in a different sort of way, and I don't think this is going to go away for Carol through the rest of the season. I think it's still going to be there.
Yeah, and I liked that moment where Alpha basically said, you could have manifested anybody in your head, but it's me. And there's a reason that it's me. I mean, besides the fact that the show probably wanted to keep Samantha Morton around a little bit longer because she's really fantastic. So, I mean, if you can fit her in, fit her in. But I gotta say that I really wasn't that excited to see Carol go on sort of this I'm gonna be alone mission again. Like, we've seen this and we've been through this and Carol has been through this, and it doesn't ever really work out for her the way that she expects that it will. So it was good to see that this did not go on longer than this episode and she ended up back with everybody, because I'm done with that. I don't want to see Carol go off on her own anymore. She has grown past that. She's different than that now.
Really, in general, I think we've just circled the wagon too many times with the Daryl and Carol are loners storylines. Because it feels like we've done this a million times with Daryl too. And I'm just sort of, okay, at this point, let's just get the two in a community, come up with some more interesting stuff for them to do. Plus, these communities are certainly going to need them given what is going on out there, which includes Beta building this giant, terrifying zombie army, which apparently also now includes Alpha's head, by the way.
Yeah, it was, that was pretty cool to sort of see him going through it, because he really has followed her for so long now that watching him carry this head around and have these moments with her, I mean, he wasn't ready for this.
He wasn't, and there's a weird vulnerability that comes with that, because Beta, not exactly on the top 5 most vulnerable characters in The Walking Dead. I mean, mostly I just think of him as this big, angry guy all the time, but he did go on a little bit of a journey, but I think through a lot of this journey, he now feels empowered to sort of lead the next phase of this, which looks to be incredibly deadly for pretty much everyone involved.
Yeah, and it was also kind of cool to see that he had a little bit of Alpha's face now as part of his mask, and that whole thing of just sort of how much she impacted his life and means to him, that he is willing to and wanting to wear her face.
Yeah, it is definitely a badge of honor for this guy. I do not think it's one he's going to get to hold on to forever, because I am prepared to say bye-bye Beta over the next 2 episodes. This dude's not going to live for long.
No, but the more interesting thing, and I don't know if they're going in any kind of direction with this, is where we saw that because Negan was the one that killed Alpha, that he is now the new Alpha. That is what the actual survivors of Alpha's group think. Then that's how it works. That if somebody kills your Alpha, you are now the new Alpha. It's not actually supposed to be Beta. So it's interesting to me then, is there going to be sort of these 2 different groups that are moving in these different directions, where we have Beta putting together this undead army and he's going to go and do all these horrible things. And then now we have like Negan is like the leader of their group. And even though he's not interested in being the leader of the group, we did see that conversation with Daryl where he's like, listen, I'm not going to pretend that being the leader of this group isn't something that's exciting, or, anything is more exciting than being locked away for all this time. But they are still then going to be following him wherever he is. So I'm kind of curious if that is a storyline that's going to go on further, if they've all sort of talked about it in the community, that he is just the way it is, or if because Negan has now killed these 3 people, if then they're going to be like, okay, maybe he shouldn't be the alpha after all, he's killing us.
Maybe this is a sort of way, can they ingratiate all these people into the community itself? I mean, I don't know if you would want to, but they're there, potentially. Maybe you can use them in the fight against Beta. Maybe they have some intel as to how to best take this guy on.
Yeah, and I think some of them have sort of been just brainwashed into this way of thinking, but we saw Gamma wasn't. There are people who see another way. But then we also saw Dante go and integrate into the society, and he was still like, nope.
Yeah, I think it varies a lot depending on the person, clearly. The other storyline that we have in this episode is the long and winding road for Team Eugene as they prepare for the meeting to end all meetings, which could be romantic for Eugene, but could also be terrible for Eugene.
Yeah, we saw them on their way to the city. Then we saw the city that was sort of like I was watching House of Wax or something, where everyone was like chained to things and still pretending like they were functioning in this society, these walkers. It was so weird.
Yeah, and then we have this woman arriving at the end. It doesn't seem like this is the woman Eugene was speaking to. It's a different voice, but...
Yeah, different voice, different energy. Also kind of like probably one of the very first few people that we've ever run across who has run into strangers and is just like, hey guys, how's everybody doing, kind of thing. And not like, who are you? How many people have you killed?
I really want to know what motivates this person at this point, because this is like, have they found a stock of coffee and they're just like extremely caffeinated? Are they from a better place? Is this all a Commonwealth setup? I don't know the answer to that. I'm hoping we find out soon, though.
Yeah.
Well, what we know right now about episode 15 is, of course, that it is the quote-unquote finale. I think that they want to air the actual finale later this year, maybe this summer, as some sort of movie event or something like that. We're just in this era now where everything is just, understandably so, very, very uncertain. And I think it's just going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, it is.
But the promo did show that it seems like Judith is going to have a larger role to play. You're going to have some Judith and Daryl scenes, which, by the way, Judith, can you mention Michonne? Because Michonne is not even a factor in this episode at all. So weird. It's just like one of the most important characters has just left, and it's just like, oh, we don't remember Michonne anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But Michonne and Daryl, they'll be out there. They'll be doing it. Sorry, Judith and Daryl, they'll be out there doing their thing. And I think we're going to see the beginnings of this battle. I have kind of an ominous prediction, though.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm guessing that 15 and 16 were probably meant to be really, really linked up. I think episode 15 is going to end with a lot of carnage and a big battle, and then halfway through the battle, it's just going to be end credits.
I could see that happening. I'm sure that they probably are linked.
So have fun with that, everybody. But anyway, what did you...
At least we're going to have Killing Eve coming soon.
Yes, Killing Eve. We'll be talking about that. Maybe that'll help. But anyway, what did you guys think about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 14? Where do you want to see things go from here? Share in the comments, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.